As we know, as professional wrestling fans, if somebody else, namely your opponent, does take your finishing move, and they do said finishing move back on you, there's nothing you can do. You'll be exiled, you have to leave the professional wrestling ring, because you just got insulted, my friend. You've got egg on your face and you will be embarrassed forever. Now that's not true, but that is how the commentary team sells you, like, oh, I can't believe they did that. And obviously The Rock and Steve Austin spammed that at WrestleMania 17, which continues to go on today. But now, it's time to rank these. So who did somebody else's finisher and made us all go, well, hot damn, that may have been better than the OG? Let's find out, let's go. Number 10, Roman Reigns on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. Now obviously this Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes match had all the power in the world, because they had fought at WrestleMania 39 and Roman had won, and everybody was like, I cannot believe that happened. I was lucky to be there, and I turned around, there was one dude that threw his cheeseburger onto the floor. That was funny because one, it's just funny, and two, those cheeseburgers cost $35. So that dude was pissed. One of the conversations after the fact as well was the fact that when Cody does indeed hit his crossroads, he never does one, he never does two, he does three. Now I totally understand this. He's trying to put some stank on that thing and let you know I am gonna finish this guy off. Also, when it comes to Roman, he had been champion for 1,316 days. You had to give him a proper sniper bullet, man. Nothing else would have gone down. The thing is though, halfway through this, Cody Rhodes did go for his Cody Cutter when Roman Reigns stopped him, grabbed him in the crossroads position, and he hit it. Now of course Cody kicked out of the 1-2-ooh, but this looks so damn good. And of course it takes two to tango, but the transition, the effortlessness, how smooth it looked. The only thing it lacked was Roman like spiking the head, but that's always gonna be a flip of a coin. And genuinely, a lot of us stopped in our tracks like, man, maybe Roman Reigns should start doing the crossroads. But don't do that, because it is one of those finishes where sometimes it looks great, sometimes it looks a little bit wishy-washy. But you should go check this out today. I promise you, you will be surprised. Number 9, Yokozuna on Hulk Hogan at the 1993 King of the Ring. The very sad story of Yokozuna is that in his later years, he ballooned up in weight so bad, it just put too much pressure on his body before he did pass away. But trust me, this guy, no matter how big he was, could move like a cat. Kind of annoying me that we don't talk about Yoko even more. In terms of big men, he is right up there, top 5 minimum. The dude could do it all. That kind of ties into this as well, because the King of the Ring in 1993 was the big rematch between Hulk Hogan and Yokozuna for the WWF title, because everybody had realized we should not have done that at WrestleMania 9, and now we're in a bit of bother, let's just give it back to Zunes. But to try and raise the stakes, I suppose, at one point during this, Yokozuna hits the leg drop of doom, and because he is so big, you're like, that is the most devastating leg drop I've ever seen in my life. But once again, go and listen to any of his peers speak about his moves. I mean, sometimes he did kill people with the bonsai drop, but he never hurt a fly, man. He was so damn good, so we should all go out there today and start shouting about it. It also was what put Hulk Hogan down here and allowed Yokozuna to be the champion again. And you could argue that it was so badass, we didn't see Hulk again until what, 2002? Meaning he was out the company for essentially 8 years. So that is one hell of a leg drop. And actually, Yokozuna did used to drop them a lot. He probably knew why. Number 8, Johnny Gargano on Tommaso Ciampa at NXT Brooklyn TakeOver number 4, or whatever it was. Now sometimes the best versions of doing somebody else's finisher is when you tweak it a little bit and make it your own. A good recent example of this is when we did Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. They did the TK driver or the Meltzer driver, whatever the hell you want to call it, but they just kind of made it your own, and that made you do a little bit of a dance of joy because you knew what it was, but it also felt brand new. It's like a warm hug. Or something. This is exactly what Johnny Gargano did, as once again he took on Tommaso Ciampa in Brooklyn, and usually the Willow's Bell, as it was called, was a very over-the-top and ridiculous DDT, but did look quite good. However, because John was also doing his own version of a DDT that had a slingshot, he pushed these two things together, and one, it looked absolutely badass, but also two, this crowd, because they were so into the product, knew exactly what he'd just done, and they became unglued. That's why the Johnny Gargano Tommaso Ciampa series is so wildly praised, or the last one gets some hate. But the reason most people do love it is because they did things like this, and that tied back into things they had done, and things they were going to do. It's layered, like dodgeball. It also just happened to do it onto exposed wood as well. And poor Johnny Gargano, man. He just goes splat here, these are the things we never talk about, that absolutely must have sucked. Drew McIntyre on Kurt Angle on a November 2018 Raw. So we saw Kurt Angle do this for years, and while all it really is you pick your opponent up from behind and do a little bit of a twirl, because Angle had that Olympic background, everybody's told this, like, man, he is throwing you around, and he did it to big dudes too. You can go out there, watch that WrestleMania 19 match, he throws around Brock Lesnar like he's nothing. Trust me, he's definitely something. So during his sort of retirement run in WWE, he came across Drew McIntyre, where we took that idea and we flipped it. Like WWE had basically already told Kurt, oh, you have to sell like you're an old man, and Drew McIntyre, you're gonna come across like a beast. But because Drew was so massive at this point, honestly, he is the one that picks Kurt Angle up like he weighs nothing. I honestly thought he was going to throw him halfway across the ring. McIntyre also made sure to do a whole 360 degrees, again because he was so strong. And this is another one that you have to check out, although I'm sure you can see an image of it on the screen right now. It kind of goes back to our chat about putting your own little tweak on it. And if Drew McIntyre had been the guy to retire Kurt Angle, he could have said, haha, this is my brand new finishing move, or at least a signature. And actually, as we are talking about it, Drew McIntyre probably should do it again. It looked really flipping good. Number 6, Sycho Sid on The Undertaker at WrestleMania 13. Now this is the Tombstone Piledriver. Without talking to the real life Mark Calloway, I can't tell you for sure, but I'm a bit worried the reason this tombstone looks so good is because Sid just did a tombstone. Like, you can say whatever you want about The Undertaker, but that man could take a human being of any size and land them perfectly. Like, did you ever hear of anybody getting hurt off a Taker tombstone? No, you didn't. Of course, throughout the years as well, so many opponents have reversed the tombstone and sometimes hit The Undertaker with it. And when Kane debuted, he just went, hey, brother, I like your moveset. Don't tell CM Punk I said that. I am just going to steal it. Like it was the right thing for the story, but it was a copy and paste. However, when Sycho Sid did take on the Dead Man during their main event at WrestleMania 13, which meant there was more gravitas here, he did the whole, well, I'm in the tombstone position, so I'm gonna move my weight backwards, and all of a sudden, ta-da, I am now in the correct place, and he dropped The Undertaker on his head. And I think the reason we all felt inclined to put it in here is because Sycho Sid, or Sid Justice, whatever you want to call him, was massive. I think The Undertaker was probably more massive, but just seeing two beasts do that, you're like, well, you can say whatever you want about their work rate, but in terms of their athleticism, through the roof. Once again, though, I am a little bit worried that because concussions weren't really a thing, Sid did come down on his knees. But if you are talking about watching something and letting it hit you right in the tum-tum, this has got to be up there. Only because The Undertaker is okay. And of course, in 2025, if you are a wrestler, I mean, look at my eye right now, just be careful, because accidents happen. Number 5, Mickie James on Trish Stratus at WrestleMania 22. So the roundhouse kick is an absolutely simple move to add to your wrestling arsenal, because if you can do it right and you have the hips and you have the smoothness, it always looked damn good. I mean, think of Aleister Black's Black Mass. It looks like it murders people. Ties into everything I just said. Trish Stratus also started to do this as she started to get really, really good as a wrestler. And of course, we called it the chick kick because she was around the early 2000s. She was a woman. Let's not pretend otherwise. When she engaged in that awesome feud with Mickie James that led her through WrestleMania 22. But because Mickie James was obsessed with Trish Stratus, she stole her maneuvers. And when she hit her version of the chick kick, which also led to the finish, well, I don't want to say it was more smooth than Trish, but man, it comes out of nowhere and it looks so damn good. And given that it does result in Mickie James becoming the champion, so that's insult to injury, man. I can't believe I've just seen this. Maybe Trish Stratus probably should have just become Mickie James's friend. But also no, because Mickie James was a sociopath. Mickie also just uses her ankle to pull this off, and she's so proud of herself, which adds to the moment. So this is another one. I don't know who came up with that finish, but it was a great idea. And in this instance, it tied directly into the story. Again, Mickie wanted to be Trish, and when she walked away this night, she'd sort of done it, but not really. You take my point. Number 4, The Undertaker on Edge at SummerSlam 2008. Now, a big conversation point when it comes to Rated R Superstar is that of all the spears we have seen since Goldberg started doing them, Edge's is the worst. Now listen, sometimes it was good, sometimes it was not so good, but it always got a pop from the crowd. That's wrestling. If anything, Adam Copeland should be given a nice pat on the back because he was arguably protecting his opponents more than other people. But when we did get to SummerSlam 2008 and once again Edge and Adam Copeland were feuding, I'd imagine they'd sat down and gone, listen, we have had a lot of matches. We should probably do something a little surprising. Hey, Mr. Phenom, why don't you steal one of my moves? which wasn't really something The Undertaker did. This also went down in a Hell in a Cell, which I think added to it. But fair play to Mark Calloway, man, because he is running at Adam Copeland even before Adam has fully turned around, and he connects with him just at the right time. And let's not forget that Taker is a very large individual, and Edge sells this like he has been shot. Looks like a knife through butter. It really is one of those underrated moments that, once again, we do not talk about it enough. I mean, when the hell did The Undertaker ever do a spear? Edge also makes sure to make it look like he's holding on to dear life because he is so scared. I'm exaggerating a little bit here, there's a tiny bit of hyperbole. But if that had been the finish, I think it would have been good with it. Even more so because the commentators could have gone, oh my gosh, he won by using Edge's finish. We didn't do that, but maybe we should have done. Either way, it's worth a YouTube. Yeah, flipping good. Number 3, Hook on Chris Jericho at Forbidden Door 2024. Now, I like the fact that Chris Jericho is always updating his moves, and yes, when he got to the, 42nd variation of his wrestling character, he included the Judas effect, which was essentially a spinning back elbow to the face. And if you think about real fighting, for lack of a better term, it's not the worst move to have. It probably came from the fact that Chris Jericho also had a legacy in Japan where moves like this were a little bit more common. And it was one of those things where half the time it looked really good and half the time maybe it didn't connect as intended, but it's all about the sell, it's all about the story. Mostly it was a smart new move and Jericho did it fine. When he was taken on Hook at the Forbidden Door though in 2024, I suppose we did sit down and go, oh, I know what will get you over. You can hit me with the Judas effect. And be it because Hook is younger and just didn't give a damn, or maybe because he hit Chris just a little bit too hard, he swings his elbow and the connection on this is so damn good. Jericho goes down like a ton of bricks. And this is one too, where afterwards you can rewatch it and look at everybody in the crowd. There's a couple of guys that are like, oh crap, man, that looked pretty harsh. It also really comes across like Hook throws his whole body into this, and sometimes that's all you need with wrestling. Obviously the point of impact is important, but if you're wiggling around and your movements are kind of over the top, the whole thing just looks damn good. Once again, Hook could have taken this on as his finishing move. What is his finishing move? It's the Red Rum. Either way, as I am talking to you, Hook's been away for a long old time, so I hope he's okay. This was absolutely something that you could buy as a 1, 2, 3, even if it didn't go that way on this night. Number 2, Randy Orton on John Cena at the Royal Rumble 2014. So this is another one you'll be able to talk about till the cows come home. But John Cena's STFU has always been a point of contention because essentially John is nice, and when he does clasp his hands, you can see there is kind of a gap there in order not to kill the guy. Steve Austin even talked about this and apparently told John Cena, if you ever give that to me and you leave that much space, I will wiggle out and kick your ass for real. CM Punk has also mentioned it, but listen, it always got a reaction from the crowd, so who cares? But during this Royal Rumble match where John Cena and Randy Orton fought for around about 42,799 times, we were always eventually going to get to the bout where you do the RKO and I shall do the AA, but Orton also busted out the SDF, and yes, because he did look his hands in and he pulled back on Cena's face, who was doing his whole rubber thing when he moves everything around, well, it looked like he was trying to rip off his skin. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is you could take anybody who has stolen this move and given it to John Cena, and it would be better, but this is why John Cena is an absolute GOAT. If he hadn't applied it properly, for lack of a better term, nobody would have been talking about it now. It wouldn't be anything fun, but instead, John Cena has just made it his own. He's one of a kind, man. You don't get to the top unless you are. I totally love that dude, and you know what? Even if he gets reincarnated and he goes through it again, I hope he never applies this properly, because this version is more fun. And why do we watch wrestling? To be entertained. Number 1, Roman Reigns on Seth Rollins during a Raw in March 2025. Seth Rollins' curb stomp is an absolutely brilliant finishing move because it is so easy to convey to anyone. If you're a hardcore fan, if you get it. If you're new, you're like, okay, that guy just took his foot and crushed the other person's skull. He's probably dead. And it's why when it went away for 3-4 years, because Vince McMahon didn't like it anymore, none of Seth's other finishers were catching on because they weren't as good. This is why when Roman Reigns did return during that CM Punk Seth Rollins cage match on Raw back in early 2025 and totally ruined them, he decided after he had grabbed Rollins and pulled him to the outside, I shall insult you by hitting the curb stomp. And maybe it's because he'd never done it before, but he just threw 100% into it. He ran over like a tank when he just leapt in the air, and he took this guy's cranium and he just mushed it into the floor. And I think we all looked around like, did Roman Reigns just do that? No wonder he has so much aura. It's probably just building in his core, hence why he can do it all. I mean, he really did lunge in, whereas Rollins usually goes up a little bit before he comes forward. But in terms of the angle and the story we were trying to convey, this was so damn good. And given that Roman Reigns was meant to be super duper mad, so he was just blowing smoke out of his face and out of his ears, you could totally believe he had gone crazy and that he was done with Seth Rollins. Which annoys me because there was like rumors it was going to be Seth versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and if this had been the setup, I tell ya, would have been a home run. It's not a home run, I threw a basketball. Either way, it was just yet more evidence to throw at these people that think Roman Reigns isn't a good wrestler, which I don't understand. Sure, he takes his time during his entrances and his matches, but that's his style, and he's made it his own, as he did here. So if Roman ever does see this, and he faces Seth, you gotta do it again, man. We are all expecting it. Now, of course, please do go to the comments below and let me know, can you remember somebody else doing a move of somebody else's and it looked better? It's unlikely to be the sharpshooter, because no one did it better than Brett, or I suppose the Scorpion Deathlock courtesy of Sting. Like the video, share the video and subscribe. Click the video on the screen for yet more wrestling trivia with this ball a hole. But otherwise, my friends, have a fantastic day. I'll see you soon.